interior of the urinary bladder. About the interior of the urinary bladder, we take a look at this picture. So when you cut the urinary bladder, you'll find that it is folded inside, and these folds form what we call the rugi of the urinary bladder. But this is to some part. But on the posterior surface, inside the urinary bladder, we find a smooth part, and that part is triangular, and that part is what we call the trigone, which is here. We call it the trigone of the urinary bladder. So now inside the urinary bladder, you only have to know about the rugi, which I said there are folds inside the urinary bladder. Then you have to know that there is a specific area called the trigone, where we find that the mucosa there is smooth. So this mucosa of the trigone, for it, I said it is smooth and it is firmly attached to the underlying muscle. Then also this muscle, or this smooth mucosa attached to the firmly attached to the underlying muscle, it has a very good blood supply and nerve supply. Then still on the trigone, about the trigone, we shall see that I said it is a triangular area. So you can, I think you are wondering what forms this triangle. What forms this triangle are three lines. And the three lines, the first line is the one which joins the two ureteric orifices. I think you can see a ureteric orifice here and a ureteric orifice here. Then so the line joining them forms the first line. And this line still forms the interureteric crest. In some books they call it the interureteric ridge. This line joining the two ureteric orifices. Then the other two lines form a triangle are the lines joining from the ureteric orifices to the internal urethral meatus, or the urethral orifice, which is here. That urethral orifice. So the line is here and this one. They form the triangle. That is the triangle formed. And that is the trigone. Then on the trigone still, we see something called uvula vesci. That uvula vesci is a slight projection. It is a slight projection or elevation from the apex of the trigone. The apex of the trigone here at the urethral orifice, there is a projection or a slight elevation, and that is what we call the uvula vesci. And you can wonder what forms this. What forms this elevation? What forms it is the median lobe of the prostate gland. It's the one which pushes into the bladder or into the trigone of the bladder and forms this uvula vesci. Then the other thing I can talk about the trigone of the bladder is that we see the internal urethral meatus. This internal urethral meatus comes from the apex of the trigone, and it is surrounded by the sphincter vesci. So that is it about the inside of the urinary bladder. Back our highlight, this time we are coming to the blood supply of the urinary bladder. The blood supply of the urinary bladder, of course, it is always arterial supply and the venous drainage. So for the arterial supply, the urinary bladder is supplied by mainly two vessels. That is the superior vesical artery and the inferior vesical artery. The superior vesical artery is a branch. It is a branch from the proximal part of the patent obliterated umbilical artery. That means before the umbilical artery is obliterated, its proximal part is patent, and it gives a branch which is this called the superior vesical artery. Then we also have the inferior vesical artery. The inferior vesical artery, for it, it comes from it is from the anterior division of the internal iliac artery. Those are the two main vessels that supply the bladder: the superior vesical artery and the inferior vesical artery. Then there are other blood vessels, but we can call them minor blood supply to the bladder, and that is from the obturator artery, the inferior gluteal artery, and the inferior gluteal artery is the one called the vaginal artery in a female. Then also from the uterine artery in a female. Then that is it for the arterial supply. For the venous drainage, the veins of the urinary bladder, they form a plexus. which we call the venous plexus, and this plexus is formed around both sides of the urinary bladder. So this venous plexus will drain all the blood, and then they will drain into the internal iliac veins. That is for the venous drainage. Then talk about the lymphatic drainage. For the lymphatic drainage, all the lymph from the urinary bladder, it drains into the external iliac nodes. That is it. External iliac nodes. Then I can talk about the nerve supply of the urinary bladder. For the nerve supply of the urinary bladder, we see that the urinary bladder has two chains. It has the sympathetic supply and the parasympathetic supply. The sympathetic supply, which is mainly by the spinal nerves, and it comes from T11, T12, L1, and L2. That is it. Then this supply, it is T11, I said T11, T12, L1, and L2, spinal nerves. Those are the sympathetic chains, and they are actually inhibitory to the muscular wall, but motor to the sphincter vesci. That is the point to note. Inhibitory to the muscular wall, but motor to the sphincter vesci. Those are the sympathetic chains from T11, T12, L1, and L2, spinal nerves. Then the parasympathetic supply, for it is from the pelvis-splanchnic nerves. Pelvis-splanchnic nerves on the roots S2, S3, and S4. Pelvis-splanchnic nerves, roots S2, S3, and S4. Then those ones, they are motor to the muscular wall, but inhibitory to the sphincter vesci. So it is the opposite. Motor to the muscular wall, but inhibitory to the sphincter vesci. Thanks for watching my video. This was the first video. You can actually expect the good things to come up very soon. Very soon we shall discuss more of this anatomy. So feel at home. This is the home videos. Thank you.